Welcome to the Superpowers for Good show, everyone. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and I am just giddy with excitement today because we've got Sarah Thomas with us. She is the founder of EduMatch, and she this is an amazing global platform for educators and students alike participating in just making education better. And it's just fascinating to see this at a truly, genuinely international level. You don't want to miss this episode, so stick around. Sarah, welcome to the show. We're
Hi,
thrilled to have
Devin.
you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Well, this is going to be a great conversation. Like I say, I'm just giddy. Uh, so I kind of introduced, but please take a minute and tell us about EduMatch.
Absolutely. So EduMatch started out very grassroots. Back in 2014, it was just kind of folks saying, "Hey, I know this one thing. I'm very passionate about this thing, and I'm looking for connections." So, what I would do is just kind of connect folks over social media that had things in common. And since then, it's grown. People have brought their ideas to our community, and we've used that to pivot and to scale and to do a lot of different things, but it's just educators learning and growing together, and we involve community stakeholders. We love to hear from students, from parents, and just grow together. And that's pretty much EduMatch in a nutshell. I would say, like, in addition to that, EduMatch is the umbrella organization, but under that we do a lot of different things. Some of it is publishing. So we publish books. We've published approximately 100 books from educators as well as students. And our mission with that is to amplify the voices of historically marginalized folks, in addition to just educator voices in general. And we also do podcasting together. We have a 501c3 sister nonprofit, which is called EduMatch Foundation Inc. And we also have EduMatch Professional Learning, which is our newest arm, where we work with our partners and with schools and with districts to help teachers learn and grow together. So that's kind of us in a nutshell.
That is fantastic.
Thank you.
Give us a sense, if you can, of a couple of the book titles that you published.
Oh yeah, there's several different book titles that we published under so many different topics. Some of them that come to mind right now, because I was just talking about a few of them. So, The Fire Within by Mandy Freilich is one that talks about educator social emotional status and how they've overcome adversity to demonstrate resilience that has helped them be better in the long run. She talks a lot about post traumatic growth and things of that nature. And let's see, we do one every year, which is a compilation of educators sharing called EduSnap for short, which stands for EduMatch Snapshot in Education. And we do it yearly, and we offer it for free out to the community in a PDF form. So we do a lot of those. We also do children's books. So we have a few actually written by children for children. So that's always great when we get to do that as well.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Now, let's talk a little bit about the international nature of this. This is not just English, it's not just you. How does this all work as a global platform?
Yeah, totally. So we actually started kind of international because when I had this crazy idea on a Friday night and I put it out into the Twitterverse at the time, then someone from Australia was our very first person to sign up saying, "Hey, get me these connections." So um, from that experience alone, I learned about the importance of time zones. To keep it global, we have to keep tweeting over the course of 24 hours. So that was really interesting to learn about. And since then, we've connected with people from all over the world. We have people in the Philippines, we have people in Ghana, of course, the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, many different places, Vietnam. just have folks coming together to connect and learn and grow. And during our different events now, as the years have gone on and technology has gotten better and better, and now we have asynchronous tools, then that helps to allow for further reach. So we're looking to definitely grow more internationally. But we are very grateful for our international friends all around the globe.
It is just amazing to think about what you're building here. Now, one of the things that got my attention is that you are currently crowdfunding on SMBX,
Mhm.
raising a little bit of money there. I had the opportunity to invest a tiny amount.
Thank you.
One of the things I love about SMBX is you can start with just $10.
Yes.
That's my it's become of late. I shouldn't say this to anybody, but it's my kind of my favorite platform, just because you can
Yeah,
start with $10 for crying out
totally.
loud. Who can't do $10? Everybody can do $10. And another thing I love, I just, forgive me for mentioning this, but there are no fees for the investors, right?
Right.
So if you put in $10 and you tie it to your bank account, you don't pay a fee on putting the money in, and you don't pay a fee to get the money back out when you make payments on that big $10 loan. So it's
Yes.
really, if there are no fees, you don't have to worry about overcoming the fees in the terms of the return. I just love it. So, um,
Totally.
how did you decide to use crowdfunding as a financing tool?
Yeah. So back in December, I was in a Facebook group and someone had mentioned the SMBX. And I went on there and I saw what they were doing. And I was just like, this is amazing because I also dabble in investing myself. So I started going in and funding different things. And I saw that there was a piece on there for entrepreneurs. So I clicked on that and kind of saw how I could get my business linked up with it, and I said, okay, let's give it a shot. So what I really like about the SMBX is that they are a community funded way to crowdsource funds for your business. And within our EduMatch community, we really work on empowering the whole educator. So we have lots of conversations about finance, about investing. We actually have a free mini course that's open. It's for educators, but it's actually for everyone. So that's available on our edumatch.thinkific.com platform, and it's a free resource. So we've had stuff like that. We've had educators write books about finance, things of that nature. So I wanted to really, pardon the pun, put my money where my mouth is and
Yeah.
open up this opportunity to the community because it's a win for EduMatch, it's a win for investors. So I just thought that their mission fit very naturally with what we want to do.
Well, I want to put all of this into a little bit of context. Tell us about your career leading up to EduMatch. I presume that initially you weren't full time with EduMatch, and I suspect now you are. But help us figure out that transition and where you were before EduMatch.
Yeah, totally. And that is it's funny because with EduMatch, and it's my baby, it is my 24/7. But I also still am a full-time educator. So and I love the fact that EduMatch helps me be better in my role. And my role helps me be better in EduMatch. So again, a win-win. But pretty much my background, I started teaching about 19 years ago. So actually yesterday, at the time of this recording, yesterday was the beginning of my 19th year. And I have gone from teaching in elementary school all the way up through high school, as well as in a master's program. So I absolutely love teaching. I love learning. I love connecting with educators. Currently, my full-time role is that I work in central office in the school district and I help schools integrate technology. But I became really passionate about EduMatch and about professional learning in general when I saw what it did for me as an educator, because I started off non traditional. So we had an alternative certification program which I entered in the year after I graduated, because I was originally a radio TV film major. So I graduated with a bachelor's in that, and then saw that they were looking for teachers in a nearby district. So I went in through alternative certification, and it was definitely a rough start at the beginning, but eventually I found my way. And one thing that really kind of fuels the fire behind EduMatch is that's a resource that I wish that I had my first few years when I was kind of struggling. I wish I had that support network, and I wish I had a place to go and to ask questions, because I really wanted to do a good job, but you know, I could have used some more support in that area. So EduMatch has been there for me in my journey as an educator, and hopefully our community members feel the same.
Well, it is just an inspiring story. I'm so
Thank
grateful
you.
for the work that you're doing, and excited to provide my little penny of support. But as you think about the business today, what do you see as your mission, purpose, and vision for where you are in, say, 5 years?
Yeah, totally. So there's so many different things that we do in EduMatch, so many different branches of EduMatch, and the goal is to have them all come together to support one another. So really, we believe in empowering the expert within. That's kind of one of our early phrases that we used quite a bit. And I love that this show is called Superpowers for Good, because I really do believe that every person, every educator has something that they do extremely well. So being able to connect people so that we can learn from each other in an organic way, is what has driven us and what continues to drive us. So like I said, it started out very grassroots, and over the years it has, kind of things have kind of fallen into their different places. So my plan for the next 5 years is to continue to grow, and to pivot to meet the needs of our community. One thing that I'm very proud of at the time of this recording, 2 days ago, our sister 501c3 company just voted unanimously to sponsor a virtual summit for artificial intelligence for educators and to offer it free of charge. So we definitely want to continue doing things like that and to help the community grow in that regard, as we figure this all out together, because this is kind of an old but new topic in education that we are hoping to kind of get more perspective on.
Well, this is really just amazing, inspiring work that you're doing, and I'm excited for your prospects for doing good in the world and making a difference. Listen, everybody, we're going to take a quick break. We're here today with Sarah Thomas, who is the founder of EduMatch, and we're excited to come back to her in a few minutes to talk about her superpower. But stick with us for just a minute while we listen to this important sponsor message. Want to learn from the world's great change makers? Find your superpower. Subscribe to the Superpowers for Good newsletter at superpowersforgood.com. Make your strengths into superpowers that will change the world. Join the super crowd today. Superpowers number 4 good.com. Well, welcome back, everyone. We're excited to have with us today Sarah Thomas. She is the founder of EduMatch, and we are having a great conversation about her work. And we're going to shift gears now to talk a little bit about her superpower. Sarah, you really have accomplished a great deal in your career. I think about you juggling the pressures of a genuine, growing, thriving business at the same time you're managing a full-time career in education at the district level. So, I mean, this is crazy stuff. But tell us a little bit about, what do you see as your superpower?
Oh man, so my superpower. This is a tough question, because a lot of times many of us in the educational field are kind of kind of conditioned to to be humble to a fault. I'm not saying that that's me, but a lot of people in our field are that way. But I absolutely love this question because I feel that we all need to embrace our inner superpowers, because that way we'll be able to show up as our full selves in order to best serve the world. So if I were to think of my superpower, I'm gonna actually cheat a little bit because a friend told me yesterday what he thought mine was. And what he told me is the fact that um I act on ideas. I move on ideas, and not every single idea that I have I move on, but whenever there's a bandwidth there, if there's an idea that is interesting and seems like it's going to help people, then I'm always down to give it a shot. Even if it's a minimum viable product, just to kind of get out there, see what happens. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, then that's fine as well. You can always learn lessons from that. So I guess that would be mine.
Well, that is a fantastic superpower. I love it. I love it, and I can see how it helps you in your work and changes the world. Tell us, what do you see as an example of how you have used that superpower to accomplish something you're proud of?
I would say definitely for EduMatch. Like EduMatch almost didn't happen. I remember the backstory is that it was a Friday night in September 2014, and I was chatting with a friend on my phone. And so something she said just kind of gave me that idea, like that might be a good thing to try. Um, but the fact that I almost didn't act on it, but something told me, okay, right now this is the time to go ahead and set up a Twitter profile. This is a time to set up a Google form. This is a time to set up a landing page, and let's do this. And I am just so glad that I listened to that little voice.
Wow, that is really powerful. I think all of us are entitled to those little flashes of brilliance, inspiration, even. And yet, so often we're inclined to just let the next episode of the television show we're watching take over, right? And we're not acting and we're not doing. And so, how would you coach us if you're thinking about how to coach them? You're an educator, you know how to do this. How would you coach us to adopt this trait, this ability, this superpower of yours, and try to build that in ourselves?
Yeah, definitely. I've thought about that for a while, and I think that really it's all about diving in feet first as opposed to head first. When you go to the pool and you have those signs where they say don't jump in the shallow water with your head first, but for feet first. So meaning that if it's a risk where you don't have a lot to lose, then I would say go for it. See what happens, because there's a great quote, and I wish that I could remember exactly who said it. But the person said that you are when you try something and it doesn't work, then it's not a loss, it's a learning experience. So being able to see what didn't work is also valuable. And again, to borrow another phrase I don't know the citation for, you miss all the shots you don't take. So I would say just keep taking those shots and keep on striving, and see what might actually help someone else. Even if it's in a form of, I tried this, it didn't work, but here's what I did. So does anyone have an idea to make it better? And that might just inspire someone else.
Yeah. Now you can help us a little bit, dig a little deeper on this. Don't be afraid to fail,
Okay.
because some of us, and this paralyzes me. Not not everyone has this, but I hate to fail, and I that doesn't stop me.
Yes, I hear
I
you.
still do it. I'm really good at it in some ways, but I struggle with it. But I wonder if you would dare. Do you dare give us an example of something where you failed and how you dealt with it and moved forward, how you learned from it? just like you're coaching us to do?
Yeah, totally. So a friend of mine, Tammy Neal, I will quote her on this because I know where this source comes from. But what she told me about failure is that it doesn't count as failure unless you give up. So some could classify my first couple years as a teacher as quote unquote failing. I was not I didn't know as much as I do now, obviously, because it's year 19 and along the line, you would hope that you learn different things. But having come from alternative certification, um, I no shorts to the preparation program because they did a great job in terms of preparing us. There were a few things I did that I could have done differently in retrospect, but those first few years were extremely stressful. And depending on who you ask, those could be classified as failures. But what really helped me was the support of my family and the support of my loved ones, and just the support of my students, first and foremost. So I have to really thank my former students for that, because it's that connection with them that really kept me coming back, because I could tell that we were having a mutual impact on each other, a mutually beneficial impact on each other. And so that's what made me feel in my spirit, this is for me, this is where I'm supposed to be. So sometimes you might have that little voice to listen to as well, saying, don't give up, stay in the fight. So I guess that would be my example of failure. And just kind of staying in the fight a little longer, just trying different things, moving around. Like for me, the solution was I just needed to be somewhere else with a different climate, a different school climate at the time. So, and then I was able to grow.
Yeah. Um, I want to drill down just a little bit so we draw the full lesson from it. So you were looking for, call it a different climate. Did you move school district? Did you move state? Did you move country? Where how far did you move to get that different cultural context that you were looking for?
Pretty much right down the street. Pretty much right down the street within the same school district. And I did move schools a few times. And my third school I really did like. But I saw an opening at my fourth school, which is initially where I had wanted to be, because it kind of matched my background exactly. So there was an opening at that fourth school. And once I was there, I stayed for a very long time because I just loved it so much.
Well, this is really helpful, and I really appreciate you sharing your insights about how to cope with failure as a part of that willingness to be able to just take action when you have an idea. What a powerful superpower! But I see how those two things really go together to complete the package. Without the ability to cope with a failure and
Hmm.
adapt and learn, you can't really be consistent about taking action. So I really appreciate you sharing.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, I wonder if you would just take a minute for us and share with everyone how they can join EduMatch, how they can participate, whether they are uh, parents of students, or educators. I guess the most folks are engaging as educators, but tell us a little bit about how to engage, and then if you would, I know people are going to want to get in touch with you. Uh, Give them the best way for you to hear from them.
Yeah, totally. So I would love to hear from anyone who's listening. I would love to connect with your audience. So thank you so much again for having me here and giving me this opportunity. I would say that the best way to get in touch with me is by email, sarah@edumatch.org. And in terms of EduMatch itself, then edumatch.org is a website to go to. In addition to that, if anyone was interested in joining EduMatch as as an educator, we welcome everyone. So there are a variety of different ways. You can find us on most social media platforms and just connect with us there at edu_match. On Facebook, we have a group, EduMatch fam. So if you go to facebook.com/groups/EduMatch fam, then we're there. We're also on Boxer. But really just reaching out to me at sarah@edumatch.org is a great place to start. And yeah, just going to our website and we'll post latest developments. We are actually going to be hosting that AI event in October, October 7th, 2023. So would love to have anyone join us there. So we'll post information on our website, edumatch.org, about that as well.
Okay. And your crowdfunding campaign can be found at the SMBX.com, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
the SMBX.com. We don't want folks to miss out on the opportunity to participate. The campaign ends soon. So
Yes.
please, let me just add, please don't miss that opportunity. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
We wish you
you.
every success with your crowdfunding campaign and with EduMatch in the long term.
Appreciate you, Devin. Thank you so much for having me.
All righty, let's do some good.